Having a valid Schengen visa and still you're denied boarding at the airport. How is this possible? Yes, guys, this has happened to someone who reached out to me on Instagram yesterday, and that person reached out to me for help from the airport. What to do in this situation. I'm kind of really stuck. So this was a very problematic moment, especially with Schengen countries, especially on an Indian passport. If you're applying for a Schengen visa and what is the process that you have to go through is already a bit hard. And on top of this, I get to know that this has actually happened. This is a very sad news, guys. So watch this video till the end to know the complete story. So let's say that you have a valid Schengen visa, you've booked all your flights. After getting visa, you've booked all your flights. Those are non-refundable. You've booked your hotels, flights, attractions, bus tickets, internal flight tickets, everything. So after getting visa, what can go wrong, right? You will obviously book for non-refundable. You will obviously book for the flights or hotels which are very cheaper, right? So unfortunately, someone had to go through this torturous process, and that was in Bengaluru airport. And I'll tell you this story from the beginning. I tried to collect maximum information from that person, like what happened to you, why were you denied boarding, etc. So basically, that person wanted to go to Italy, spend some time in Italy, and then spend some time in France, and if possible, spend some time in Germany, and then come back to Bangalore. So that person had booked to and fro tickets to Paris. That is from Bangalore to Paris. If you see, there is Air France available. So his plan was to go to France, spend some time, go to Italy, spend some time, go to Germany, spend some time, and then come back to France, and then come back to Bangalore. But unfortunately, when he was applying for visa, he did not get the appointments for France or Italy or even Germany, and the only slots that were available to go for the appointment and to get the visa was Sweden. So he applied for a Swedish visa, and then he got the Swedish visa, and it's all good. He booked all the events, all the attractions, bus flights, internal flights, everything, even the cruise tickets which he wanted to go, he booked everything. But when on the day of boarding, when he was about to board in Bengaluru airport from Air France, then they asked him, are you visiting Sweden? Because the visa is issued from Sweden. So he said he gave the itinerary because this is due to I can say due to lack of awareness or lack of knowledge. I can say there is no proper research done in this case. So when he went to get the boarding pass, Air France stopped him. They asked him, are you going to Sweden? If so, how are you going to Sweden? Now he said, no, I'm not going to Sweden. I'm going to France, then I'm going to Italy, then I'm going to Germany. I'm coming back to France and coming back to Bangalore. And he had all the proofs, all the internal tickets, etc. Then he was stopped boarding. Because when you get a Schengen visa for a particular country, it is your responsibility to at least land in that country first, or land in a different country and then go to that country at least once. Now you may ask, it's all domestic kind of flights there. There is no stamp or seal on the passport. It's completely based on trust basis. If you are too genuine, if you're too honest, it is always difficult. And if you try to do some fraud or if you try to manipulate some documents, again, that is not advisable, guys. So you have to be really clever in these kind of situations to how you answer and how you tell the people who are issuing your boarding pass. In this case, it was Air France. So they denied the boarding because he was not going to Sweden at least once. As if you see the Schengen workbook or the travel guide or the checklist they have, you have to visit the country which you are applying for at least once on your travel. Let's say if your visa is issued for 15 days, at least once you need to ensure you need to go to that country. Now again, the same question I'm going to ask you again, how will they get to know if I visited that country or not? That is absolutely correct. Now when I went to Europe, my visa was issued by Norway. So my flight was from Bangalore to Dubai, Dubai to Oslo, which is in Norway. So there was no questions asked to me. When I went to Emirates counter, they saw my visa and I'm going to Norway. So no problem. But not always you will be landing in the airport which you applied visa for. So please remember this. So he was denied boarding. So I'll come to this. I'll come to my tip my tips and tricks later on in this video. So please watch till the end. So he was denied boarding. He said you have to go back to Sweden embassy. You have to get an approval and we cannot allow you boarding. So he came out of the airport, again went to the procedure of VFS, again contacted Swedish embassy and they said we cannot do anything in this case. If you are denied boarding, and another time, like if there will be obviously a communication on your passport as well. So if he tries to board with a different story on the next day, because your flights are already booked, everything is gone and you have to book new flights. And even he tried to convince them, okay, I will be visiting Sweden, just give me 15 minutes time, I'll book some flight ticket or something and then I'll come back. They said, no, we cannot do this right now. You've already told us the scenario and now there is no chance to cover up. So Air France staff in Bangalore airport denied to board this particular person, because obviously guys, if you take a Schengen visa, you have to go to that country. That is the rules. You have to follow the rules. But he could have said, I am going to that country, by road or by bus or by some other mode of transport, by cruise or ship, then I'm coming back. Then they would have obviously allowed boarding, because it all goes on trust basis. So my advice here is, whenever you're applying for a country, better to land in that country, guys. Better to land in that country. I know you are going to come back to me and say flights are going to be expensive, we cannot really do that. But my suggestion is, when you're applying for a Schengen country, just go to that particular country as a first port of entry for your own safety and for your own reputation. Next time when you're applying Schengen visa, they're going to see that, and the chances of getting Schengen visa are more. Obviously, I've spoken to a lot of people on this, and even I've spoken to the VFS itself when I went to Norway counter, even they said the same thing. So he was denied boarding and he went to Swedish embassy, VFS back again, and they said we cannot do anything here, you have to reapply again. Again try to reapply next week, and if you get the visa, try to go into that country as a first port of entry, or at least have some proof that you're going from France to Sweden and then going to rest of the Schengen countries. So this is a very very informative video in terms of due diligence or creating awareness to people, that I completely understand that if you don't have appointments, you are obviously going to apply for a different country. So make sure that to enter that country as your first port of country, that is my recommendation. Or if you say flights are cheap to different country, why I need to go to that country, that's also a valid point. So at least make sure that you have proof, guys. At least if you have dummy tickets showing from the dummy tickets is just 500,000 rupees. I've made a dedicated video on how to book dummy tickets. So you can make use of that and you can watch those videos I've created for awareness, which will really help you a lot. I've made so many videos about Schengen visa. And the problem is, in YouTube, as it's a completely free platform, there are so many people telling so many different things. So you might be confused that, okay, one person is saying you need not visit that country at all, which you apply, and someone is saying you have to visit that country as a first port of entry. So always it's your own research that you do to follow the right people, or to do your own research in terms of checking the Schengen book, guys. The Schengen visa checklist book. You have to go through the checklist and see that the visa you're applying for that country, you have to go at least once in your visit. You have to show the day-to-day itinerary and the cover letter, everything at the time of your boarding, if it is not the first port of entry. Again I'm saying, when I went to Norway, I went to Oslo from Bangalore, that is the first port of entry, so they will not ask anything to me, because I'm landing in the country where I applied visa for. And it totally again depends on, even if you clear the local airport in Bangalore, Delhi or Mumbai, you might be stopped in the air in Schengen country at the first port of entry. They will again ask your itinerary, day-to-day itinerary, cover letter, proofs, flight tickets, everything. Trust me on this. When you land to the first port of entry, so let's say you've like me applied to Norway, and if you land in Norway, there are not going to be any issues. And if you apply for France, if you land in France as a first port of entry, again there will be no issues, because you're landing in the country where you have applied for, and there will be less complications. So in this scenario, he has lost the flight tickets, he has lost the hotel bookings, everything is not refundable. Now this is going to be very bad. There's going to be a loss of at least 2 to 3 lakhs in my opinion. So this is a very sensitive situation, guys. So I advise you to be very pragmatic, be aware of the situation, go through on your personal own research. I've made a lot of videos which has helped a lot of people on my own experience. So many YouTubers have not even gone to Schengen countries and making videos about Schengen. So that is something that when I see those videos, I kind of feel it really funny, because when you actually don't go to any Schengen country and you're making videos about Schengen visa when you yourself have not had that experience. So this is this is not right. This is just my opinion, and this is just based on my personal research. So I have already gone to Europe last month, and I've been there for 2 weeks. I went to 8 countries. So I know how the process is, what all you have to go through, what all other people in the immigration were struggling, how many people were stopped in Bangalore airport because their itinerary was not correct. They've applied for some other country and they're boarding Emirates flight to go to Oslo because it is cheaper. So be aware, guys, be aware of the situation, and my recommendation is to follow my playlist. I've made a lot of awareness videos about Schengen visa, and I hope this video was very, very informational. If you have any doubts or if you need any help on your visa, please follow me and then ping me on Instagram, because I'm not getting notified. So once I see your Instagram message, I'll certainly help you with whatever I know, whatever I can do, guys. I hope this information is very, very informative. I'll catch you guys in my next video.